Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Monday, the 4th of May. Now, it's looks like we're right in the middle of the like the twilight zone, I guess you could call it. And this is where the quite a few countries, quite a few US states are reopening. Now, there's sort of restaurants and a few other things. Now, it's right in the crux of so they're going to do one or two things. You're going to have a huge increase in demand for products and fuel and all these sorts of things, or we're going to see, the coronavirus sort of infections, whatever you want to call it, picking up, and that's going to shut everything down even longer, right? So it's a bit of the twilight zone. To me, this whole risk situation, where there's a fair amount of risk in this, is giving the US dollar a bit of footing once again. Equity markets didn't like the whole side of things. A bit of company earnings seasons. There's a big question mark over what companies, as we roll out of this, as the reopenings kick on, what the financial state of a lot of companies is going to be like. Also, what's going to change with the structure of those companies, with people working from home, using the offices. There's also a lot of pressure on the banks, right? The banks are holding all the bankruptcy and default notices. They actually don't know what to do with those as well, because a lot of people who have been impacted, or businesses have been impacted, are yet to see how it looks once everything opens. They can see their financials. There may be a run on bankruptcies. You've got house prices to consider as well. So there's a huge range of things, uncertainties, and I think that's going to give the dollar a bit of as I said, a bit of a footing, and we may see this thing pop to the top side. Now, the dollar index, as you can see here, stabilizing and starting to sort of make a bit of a rally. I think we're going to see the dollar have a bit of a run here across the board. You can see dollar one here has taken off. The US dollar has hit home there. One thing that we've noticed with the reopenings in China, it did not lead to an increase in spending like we would think. So that's probably the first place it's reopened, and the economy's not ticking along. It hasn't exploded. There hasn't been a huge rush of demand. So this is going to be an interesting one as it plays out. And I think we're going to end up with a situation where the dollar is shooting up and down based on the results that we get from this. Okay, so just take it easy with regards to what's happening. You can see the, whoops, I'll just clear that. You can see the nice run here that the Aussie in particular had, also Kiwi. Now they are just rolling over. And this has got a lot to do with Trump coming back out and saying he's going to put more tariffs on China. That's going to stress the whole situation. Obviously, that's probably why dollar yuan has actually taken off as well. So that's probably the main thing. That's going to put huge pressure on the equity markets once again, at the same time as we're coming out of lockdown. I think Trump is doing this just to completely confuse everyone, right? Distract everyone from what's going on, drag it out to the elections. It's a nightmare for the central banks. Imagine being Jerome Powell at the Fed, and then Trump starts coming out with this stuff as they're trying to manage all this stimulus to keep everything going in the US. It's a bit of a conundrum, or a massive head kicker for them. Now, dollar yen, pretty much as baffling as that all sounded, as I was just saying with the commentary there, this is what we're left with dollar yen now. This has got some new levels. I can just clear the screens. What we're sort of basically dealing with, and hopefully this is the last day for my using my laptop. As you can see, obviously the template color is a little bit kooky, but I should get my desktop back today, new processor and everything else, new motherboard, and we'll be back in action. But just looking at dollar yen, if anything, we're widening out the parameters from where we are, and that gives you a better idea of what's happening with dollar yen, right? It's pretty much sideways. The good movements here from last week, okay, just cleaning up that euro chart. As you can see, it's sort of pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and we are seeing a nice run down here. Now, sterling, I was actually going through the analysis sort of yesterday, Sunday, just having a look around what's going on. This looks like it's primed for a drop to the downside. For those who are wondering where you can find that, let me just, got a Teams update there. Let me just get off that. What we're looking for is actually, this is where you can come back to the FX Market Insight. And if you scroll down here, it was a bit of a standout. Primarily, it's been shooting up, but we have been seeing it dissipate somewhat. So sterling here, trend is up, down, but you're looking for a sell of the break, right? This is exactly the way it's sort of playing out at the moment. It is early doors. It's very rare that I would even be sort of looking to trade Monday, but with Trump coming out with these tariffs, dollar strength, with all the openings and all the uncertainties going on, I think it's a bit of a chance for a dip down here in sterling. If you missed the initial break here around 124.70, or it's back up to 75, it's 25 points through the level. Potentially maybe looking for a sell on a rally, or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, okay, selling on a rally back towards that this line here. Let me just get my other pen. My mouse has just died on me. So either looking for a sell back towards this support level, which is now going to be resistance, or even looking for a bit more of a comfortable sell back up towards 125.10. I doubt we'll see that today as we move forward. So that's what we got on the charts. And actually, just to finish up, we've got dollar CAD shooting to the top side. Well, I think that's going to be the way of it. If we see an increase in the lockdowns, well, then the demand for oil is going to diminish once again. We should see dollar CAD to the top side. It's already shooting up, and it's it's been a tough one to trade, let alone sort of sit back and watch. But that's where we are on that pair. So just coming back up to the FX Market Insight, just having a look here. Like what we've got is we've got usual sort of thin market trading conditions, right? This is very important. You understand that, trading on a Monday is problematic, where we are trying to factor in news on the weekend like Trump. Okay, that's one thing you can see a bit of volatility around because there's not as much liquidity in the market on the Asian Open. The pairs for me to focus on just for the moment to start the week, the pairs that finished last week with sort of clear direction, sterling, and then you've got pretty much the twins, euro and dollar Swiss. Euro still probably looking to buy on dips at this point, which doesn't really match up with the dollar rally. But you know what? Euro's doing its own thing, and potentially just keep an eye on euro and dollar Swiss. See how they match up as momentum kicks in for trading today. But sterling definitely looks like that trade on the downside is the way to go. And the rest of the pairs, well, sorry, I'm just trying to manage my mouse here. Dollar CAD, it is a bit of a standout in the sense that it's been trading sideways, but we are seeing momentum up, and we were looking for a buy of a break of that resistance line. It looks like it's already left the house. And pretty much just one other thing too, as we go through the week, obviously it's a non-farm payrolls Friday week. We are going to have a bit of a looser Asian session. We've got, it's a Japanese holiday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's the bulk of the liquidity in the Asian market, right? So you should see either quiet markets or a bit more volatility around that Asian session as we move forward. As I said, if you scroll down through the economic fundamentals for this week, you see there's a cartload of things. We've obviously got the RBA on Tuesday, interest rate decision and statement, no change in rates expected, see what they've got to say. Then you come back down and you get into the employment numbers out of New Zealand. So like a quarterly number. So it's quite influential. It'd be interesting to see if employment drops off in New Zealand. The inflation was already higher a week or so ago. That'll be important. Now, to me, this is where we've finally had some time to go through the market, from the time this whole coronavirus situation started, looking at the non-farm payrolls, right? This is going to be pretty big. I think some firms are looking at potentially upwards of around 20 million. We'll see how that data sits. Now, obviously, you've got massive weakness in the US economy. We're going to see that. You can also see this. You've got the Canadian employment numbers coming out at the same time. My mouse going a little bit wonky there. But this is where the stimulus is already in there. They're rolling things out. We're getting weak data. What do? Well, I tell you what, it's a bit of an uncertain situation. We have to wait and see. This is where you want to really focus back on, if I can just drop that down a touch. Keep an eye on the US equity markets this week. It's going to be pretty directional for what's happening. And then, just keep an eye on the news and see what's rolling out as far as these numbers go, right? We've got a huge amount of uncertainty. We've got US non-farm payrolls Friday. We've got the RBA Tuesday. We've got a whole bunch of a new month of data coming out. This is, I think now, well, you've got to think May right? Everyone's talking about rolling back these lockdowns, but this is where the data is going to go exponentially bad everywhere, right? So the impact on, say, Aussie, Euro, Sterling, Kiwi, Canada in particular, is going to be quite loose. You know, we've already seen weak data in Eurozone, and Euro's up 100 points. So go figure on that one. So we just got to play it as we see it. To me, it's a bit of a die. Could be a potential, like last week was $1, especially the start of the first 2 or 3 days, dollar sell-off. This week could be $1 buy as we run into everything else that's coming out this week. All right, fair bit to take in there, but just it's a great day to tune up your charts. You know, have a look. Dollar is sort of surging just at the moment. Use the daily or the FX Study FX Market Insight to try and guide you into where those opportunities are. And yeah, let us know if you have any issues. All right, that's it from me, guys. Have a good week and plenty of opportunities. And just make sure you're not over trading your capital. All right, guys, have a good one. Cheerio.